Hello and welcome to the Helios blog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. Today, HasanAbi reacts to female Andrew Tate. Let's get into it.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Another episode of Uncensored where he takes some of the worst people online to stand next to him to make himself look good in comparison. He is the GOAT at this. This is his bread and his butter. He does this shit all the time. So here he is, back at it again.
So Pearl Davis has racked up a legion of online followers and plenty of breathless newspaper coverage by sharing her incendiary views.
Sorry, I apologize. I said this is Piers Morgan's bread and butter, but instead I should have said this is Piers Morgan's tea and crumpets. Right.
Let's take a look at the clip that sent her viral.
A lot of people think I'm insane because I don't think women should vote. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for this opinion. If anything, this is probably my most extreme opinion. 90% of women have been on birth control. 1 out of 3 women has had an abortion. 1 out of 3 women has an STD. Average body count is over 5, so that your average wife has slept with over 5 people. 95% of women are not virgins on their wedding days. So I understand the complaint.
Okay, well, Pearl joins me now alongside political journalist Ava Santini.
Actually, she got right to the heart of the matter, didn't she? Yeah. Everybody that wants like a traditional girl, yeah. Good luck with that, my friend. Yup. Wedding dress that's supposed to symbolize purity. Well, I mean, it's more like a black dress at this point. Anyway, let's continue.
He was nodding furiously along there to everything she heard. Right, Pearl, you've be called the female Andrew Tate. How do you plead?
Well, I take it as a compliment. You know, I'm a fan of Andrew Tate.
Of everything he says?
Wow. Piss. Yeah, he's already trying to like stab at her heart, right? Oh, you are Andrew Tate. Here, let's play Andrew Tate's most inflammatory messages and associate you with them and destroy your reputation. Okay, lovely.
It depends what we're talking about, but overall, I think he's got a good message. I think he's good for young.
What don't you agree with that Andrew Tate says? That's awesome. They're so brave, dude.
Okay, look, you're talking about women predominantly, which is why you've got this big following. And your view is that modern feminism is deeply flawed.
Indeed.
I would argue a lot of your proposals, like taking the vote away from women, are deeply regressive. Why would you want to remove...
Yeah, okay. So, here's the thing. I don't know if removing women's vote was so bad. Sorry, if giving women the vote was so bad. Although, here's the problem, okay? So we're going to talk about the vote now. Women actually have a greater population than men. Women tend to be more socialist than men. So, women will tend to vote more socialist than men, and over time will move the country in a more socialist direction. So when I say socialist, I mean, you know, basically public service and higher taxes, effectively. Because women don't really believe in a meritocracy. They believe in a, what's it called? Like a collectivist kind of society where everybody gets equal everything. And the problem with this is that different people actually do work harder in society, and people should be rewarded for greater effort and greater contribution with greater pay, but women don't tend to vote that way. And because women simply by existing have greater numbers, and there's more than this, many men vote according to what women want, and they do that because they're trying to get laid. So what's happening is basically women and men that are pretenders, that aren't actually like they're beta males. They go with what women want because they think that by associating with the feminine, they can get the feminine. That percentage of the population actually determines the direction the country goes in. And as a result of that, the strong men get outvoted and the civilization goes down over time. So that's the reason maybe why the vote could be bad. Now, what's even funnier than this is actually initially when the vote was given to women, most women actually didn't want the vote. It was actually men that helped to increase the percentage vote such that women could actually vote. Basically, it was men that believed that by ushering in this progressive society that they would get laid more, right? Because pretty much throughout all of human history, most men have been invisible to most women. And men thought that by, you know, unlocking women's like bedroom fun, that they would get more. But actually what ended up happening was the rich got richer, right? By having no taxes on trade, all that happened is more billionaires were created, as opposed to the average person getting more. In fact, the average person gets less. And I don't know if I'm mixing metaphors here, but here's what I'm getting at. Marriage before was like a collectivist institution for bedroom fun. It's like effectively bedroom fun socialism, right? Women actually only want the millionaires for bedroom fun. And when I say the millionaires, I don't mean like they actually have $1 million. I mean the top 20% of men or higher. They would rather share them than even look at the bottom 80%. But with enforced monogamy, one-on-one pairing, women that normally would never have gotten with a 75th percentile man were effectively forced to, or be shamed and shunned by the society, and so they had to tolerate it, right? You know, with maybe some cheating on the side. But in any case, women got married early, they had children with that man early, and it actually basically led to a more stable society, because these men that were normally invisible actually had a wife, actually had children, actually had something to work for, and actually had something to contribute to society. And as a result of that, we got all of the great things that civilization has brought forth. But when you break that system of enforced monogamy with this modern system of free love, effectively, what happens is the rich get richer, so the only guys that women wanted anyway are the men that all the women are sharing. And that's why the end count of women is so high before marriage, because they've all shared one of these chads before marriage and been ruined by these chads. And so on. So that's actually the reason why Pearl is saying these things. It's not... Now, she might not have such a good argument for it, right? But that's actually why. What she's actually arguing for isn't regression. It's actually progression. It isn't necessarily progressive to ruin marriage, because that's what's happening in modern society. Ruining marriage is not progressive. Ruining marriage is destructive. And if progressive is equal to destructive, then I don't want progressive. I want a system where the man that isn't top 20% can actually get a wife, can actually get a family, can actually get children, can actually contribute to society. Because what's happening now is most men are invisible. More men than ever before are virgins. More men than ever before are not getting married. More men than ever before are basically living in quiet desperation. And it's because of the social experiment that started in the 1960s. So, there it is. Now that two people are working instead of one, effectively what's happened is not a doubling of wealth. There's the same amount of resources, but now both men and women have to work in the household at the same time. So women now have to effectively be men and be women at the same time. Whereas before, they could only be women and the man would be paid the double salary, effectively. So this progressive thing that we have going on hasn't really had the positive benefits that it appears on the surface maybe to have had. All it has done is forced women to be men and made more women miserable than ever before because women are hypergamous, right? So what I mean is this. Women want men that earn more than them. So before, by default, a man would earn more than her because she wouldn't even be working. So her hypergamous filter, her hypergamous checks are already being met on the provider side. Nowadays, in order to be with a girl, you have to earn 1.5 times what she earns. So if she makes 100 grand, you have to make 150 grand. If she makes 50 grand, you have to make 75 grand. If she makes nothing, then you can just be the breadwinner, right? But the problem is, all the prices are twice as expensive as they used to be, relatively speaking. So in order for you to be a man that has a stay-at-home wife, for example, you need to make twice the amount of money that men used to have to make. And it's a very difficult thing, which requires much, much more effort. So, that is why. It's not like Andrew is this evil person and taking away the vote is this evil thing. Women are happiest when they have children, when they have families, which is what they had in the 50s. Women are miserable when they're career women and don't have children. So, why is it regressive to go back to the old system? Okay, let's continue. Oh, and people usually argue this point of with violence in the home. But actually violence in the home is higher now than it used to be. So, yeah. Tell me that society is progressing, quote unquote. All right. That was my rant. Let's continue.
Just from yourself, the right to vote.
Well, what happened was I had the same view, right? Back when I started, I was like, why? I found out that only 5% of women wanted the right to vote. And I couldn't figure out, like, why would women not? No, it's true. It's true. You look it up.
At the time.
At the time.
Because they've been conditioned by men to think that they shouldn't have a vote.
I mean,
that's not why. It's because who cares about voting if you have a family, if you have children, if you are doing the most important thing that women do and have done for society since the beginning, which is to be wives and mothers and to raise the next generation. Why is that considered bad? That's what I don't understand. I don't understand why being a mother is considered this terrible, horrible thing, when even now in 2023, women say that they love being mothers. Why is it so bad to focus all your energy on being a mother? I fail to see why that's bad. I don't understand. It's just conditioning. I fail to see why it's bad. Being dependent on a man for money, but he's dependent on you because he needs you to help raise his children. So what is wrong with an interdependent cooperative system? I fail to see what's wrong with that. But everybody totes it as this evil thing. Okay, let's continue.
I mean, that's what they say, but, I started reading their writings, right? And what I found out was that the reason a lot of women advocated for it was because they believed it was the beginning of the breakdown of the family. Before you became one in marriage, 85% of people were married.
Indeed.
And, I hate to say it, but they were right. What has happened 100 years later?
What's that going to do with them having the vote?
Well, it also goes back to responsibility. Again,
what does that have to do with women having the vote? Well, I actually already explained it. You can listen a few minutes before in the video. Let me sum it up in, 2 sentences? Women tend to be more collectivist than men. So they tend to vote more socialist. So what happens is the wealth tends to get distributed more evenly when women vote. And so as a result of that, the society tends to go more communist. In a communist system, both men and women work and they get paid equally, right? And when that happens, what happens is basically women can't not work as a group. So that's what happens. So what happens is women can't be mothers. They have to be mothers and career women. Whereas before they only had to be mothers. That's what that has to do with having the vote?
Again, men are 80 to 90% of the military. They run all of the infrastructures that make society run. So I just think if we want an equal say in society, then be equal. Do 50% of the hard jobs. Be 50% of the military. In the U.S., they're fined $250,000 if they don't join selective service, which is essentially the draft.
Okay, but specifically on the vote, what would having the right to vote have to do with family cohesion, for example?
Well, because
Okay, so what does having the right to vote have to do with family cohesion? So, when women vote more left, because that's what they tend to do, then we go more communist. When we go more communist, women can't not work because they will be forced to work as well under such a system. In such a system, women are forced to be both workers and mothers. So they can't focus on being mothers like they used to. And the salary of everybody gets cut in half. Because under a communist system, everybody works and everybody gets paid equally. And when I say everybody works, I mean everybody needs to work for society. Whereas before, men worked for society, women worked for the family. But in the modern system, women have to work for both society and the family. And so it affects women's ability to do what they do and men's ability to do what they do. Because now the roles are not split, now they're equal. So now the man has to be a mom as well, and the woman has to be a dad as well. That's the problem.
Because again, before you weren't trying to divide a family. It was one family unit. You had one vote for the family. I mean, I don't think it's good for a family to have two votes.
The irony of this, and I've repeated this before, no self-respecting misogynist is going to watch a woman say any of these things, okay? Kaya! No. Don't do that.
Or permitted that.
Well, there was no law. I mean, there's always been women that were influential in
let's
history.
let's get on to the vote. So what I don't understand is, you know, a part of your message, I've researched you today, and hang on a minute.
Okay.
You know, your big push is that you care about men and you don't think that men are getting enough of a say. But
Well, I care about
hang
women
on,
too.
I haven't
Care
made
about
the
women
point
too,
yet. Because of feminism, okay? What I wonder is when you start making calls out like repeal the 19th, women shouldn't be allowed to vote. How is that helping young men? Because these young men have women in their lives, they have mothers.
How does it help men? Well, here's what will happen. Because men tend to vote more on a meritocracy. What will happen if only men have the vote is we will tend to go back to the way that it used to be, where we put, oh, I forgot about this as well. This is also very important with regards to the vote as well. Women tend to vote in a direction that gives them as much hypergamous choice as possible. I totally forgot about this as well. So women will vote in a way that makes free love legal, which is sleeping around, that's illegal. No-fault divorce, legal, and all sorts of things like that. Men don't tend to vote for that. And the reason is because in all of societies that have existed before this social experiment for the last 60 years, all of them voted to control female hypergamy. So female hypergamy is, I only want to marry the best man. I only want to sleep with the best man. No other man will do. And so what ends up happening in a free love society is girls all share those men. And the bottom 80% of men get nothing. And so drop out of society. Right? Because they don't want to participate. Because why would they participate if they're not getting laid? So that's another thing. So what would happen if women lost the right to vote is men would then tend to vote in laws that restricted female hypergamy, which would then bring about a system similar to what we had before, where it's divorce is illegal, cheating is illegal, and so on. And as a result of this, what would happen is you'd get a much more, patriarchal society. Whereas right now we have a matriarchal society. And patriarchal societies run better than matriarchal societies. And the reason is because patriarchal societies are based not on collectivism but on a meritocracy, where men get much more benefits for contributing more. And it's funny. In 2023, while you could say that men get more benefits for contributing more, what actually happens is this. Women choose career paths for the purpose of finding a man in that career path that makes more than them. So for example, girl becomes a nurse so she can get a doctor, right? And so on. So all those jobs that could have gone to men that could contribute to a family and have a happy family unit, instead it's going to a woman who then only wants a guy who's superior to her. So what then happens is men get pushed out of good jobs and can't get married as a result, right? Because they don't have the financial stability to get married. So either they're a Chad and sleep around and still don't get married and don't have children, or they have children out of wedlock, ruining a future family and also not having their own family. So do you see how this leads to crazy instability? Yeah. Let's continue.
They have sisters, they have teachers, and they turn around, they don't know how to act around women because you're giving them license to be misogynistic.
No, that's what? That's no. That's not what she's doing. She's not giving them license to hate women. Because here's the thing. If you tell a girl, you will be happiest in a marriage with children and being respectful and looking up to your husband. If you tell a girl that from a young age, she's going to actually grow up and have a nice marriage. If you tell her you're strong, independent, you don't need no man, you should work, you should be independent, you should work for yourself, you shouldn't care about a man, she's going to internalize that. It's not hating on women to tell them the thing that'll make them the most happy. It's not hating on women to tell them that when they're 28 plus, they're going to have a lot of trouble finding a man versus when they were 22, and so on. Telling women the truth is not hating them. Let's continue.
I wouldn't call it misogynistic. I say be equal. So again, men do all of the
feminists are
well,
saying.
then okay, I'd love for the feminists, please apply for the oil rigs. Please go do the hard job.
This is such a easily addressed take that Ethan has done a great job addressing, as well as many others. But it's like, first of all, that's not the only fucking job. Secondly, a lot of these like menial labor tasks, just not the oil rigs, I guess, but plenty of others that don't go fucking viral on Twitter, like distribution facility jobs, right? They are taken by women. And not only that, but those jobs are not paid well. The oil rig jobs as well are not necessarily paid as well as they are supposed to be. It's very fucking stupid to constantly go, oh, women oil rig jobs. It's like, bro, what about the CEO jobs? You know what I mean? There is no physical labor there. Why is that also still heavily dominated by men? Shut the fuck.
I can explain that one too. It's obvious. Men and women are different. In order to get a CEO job, you have to be a competitive, cutthroat person. Men tend to be more disagreeable than women on average, by the Big Five personality survey. So, statistically speaking, men will have more CEO jobs. In fact, if you go by statistics, men are actually underrepresented in CEO jobs. But anyway, I digress.
Fuck up.
Jobs in society. They're open, they're hiring, because I don't equate for, I don't think men or women are equal until we do the equal work. So no, listen, go apply to be on the oil rigs, go be a plumber, go be an electrician, go be on the front lines of the military, and then we should have equal rights. But until feminists are willing to do that, I don't believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, well, I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be, but I'm...
That's disrespectful and rude to attack her character or her body like that. That's rude. But exactly, you're not built for it. So then, if you're not built to run a society, why do you have an equal say in it?
Absolutely
That's
not.
a bit-
No, but you said you said you were a volleyball player, and so you've got.
Ooh,
Volleyball doesn't make you strong enough to be on the oil rigs.
You said you fucking Said you're big. Shut your big ass up. Go work at a fucking oil rig. God damn.
I believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, but I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be, but I'm absolutely not.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, God damn.
Yeah, she's resorting to ad hominems, which is a logical fallacy. Again, if Pearl was a better debater, that's an immediate loss. In response to this, all you have to do is look at the camera. That is a logical fallacy. Just because you are attacking my character and how I look does not mean that it disproves my argument. You're being impolite and rude. And that means that you acknowledge that there is no logical way to refute my argument. And as a result of that, you're now attacking my character. So audience, this is a good description. This is a good explanation of why the world is the way it is, right? So, back to the point, which is what I said. Okay, let's continue.
Damn.
Oh, you said you were
Wow,
volleyball.
wow.
You said you were a
Peers love that. He's like, wow, the girls are fighting.
Cat fight.
volleyball player, and so you've got more strength than I do. I don't think
But
that
I don't
can
have more
do
strength.
those
I don't have
jobs.
more strength
But
than
I'm
the
not
average
gonna take your
man.
right away to
I don't
do
have
it.
I don't have more strength than the average man. But again, it goes back to go be a plumber. You want to be equal, go be
That's
equal.
But you want divorce to be made illegal.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because I don't think what we have today is really marriage. What is marriage? It's for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. That's what marriage is supposed to be. But feminists have ruined marriage for the people that actually believe in marriage.
How?
When there's a 50% divorce rate, and the average...
This is so insane, dude. Feminists have ruined marriage by allowing women to divorce is an ungodly bad take.
Disagree, but anyway, there should be no such thing as no fault divorce. We grew apart. Bam, torpedo the marriage. No. You need reasonable grounds to get divorced. Otherwise, it is illegal. That should be the system. That was the old system and it worked. Yes, there were more women that were miserable, but they were miserable crying in their family. Right? They had a family, they had a house, they had a car, they had children. Now look at the system. Look at how it looks now. And tell me that things are okay. They're not okay. Alright. Let's end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, AJ Nor, and Tom M. Buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. Share this video. And of course, go to my Patreon and subscribe, patreon.com/theheliosblog. Thank you so much for listening, especially if you listen to the end. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.